Hello, I'm Ollie, the marketing manager here at Automotive Addiction, and today we are hosting our first open day. It's the first time we've ever done this. We're super excited and we're looking forward to seeing how it goes. So how did today come around? Last year we sold a car to a member of the Porsche Club GB, and he was super thrilled with the service and he wanted to bring members of the club along so we can show them what we do here at Automotive Addiction. Today we have a number of demonstrations happening. Outside we've got all the washing, and here behind me we've got the detailing. In our workshop here we've got the inspection and the intricate bits, and then behind you we have the showroom full of all the cars which are prepared and ready to go.
Hi everyone, I'm Dylan, I'm the Director of Automotive Addiction. Thank you all for coming, even though it's absolutely freezing. Just to explain who we are and what we do so it's clear, we are a car sales company. All these cars here are cars that we sell. However, it was founded doing detailing. So the core foundation of our business is every car goes through a detailing process from start to finish. So today, what we're going to do, we're going to have 4 different activities. We're going to show you about washing, we're going to show you about detailing, we're going to show you about PPF, we're going to show you about ceramic, and we've got 4 different groups. And that's what we're going to do today. The whole point of it is you go away and you take something from it.
What you're about to see are glimpses of the demonstrations from our very first open day. You're not going to see absolutely everything that we run through because the video will be multiple hours long. The first demonstration you're about to see is Lewis running through our inspection process, and these elements form the very foundation of Automotive Addiction. If the cars do not pass these checks, we simply do not sell them.
This here is the beginning of the process. So what happens is, like, this is a car that we've purchased. So somebody will offer us a car, like, to sell it to us. At that point we'll build up like as much information as we can on that car. So pre-purchase checks that we do, service history, make sure all the service history is okay, obviously your generic HPI clear, make sure that that's okay, and just build a bit of a portfolio on the car so you know as much about it as you can before it ends up here. This particular car, because of like logistical issues at the time, we had to buy this blind. So service history and everything checked out. It'd been maintained by one of the partners that we work with who looks after like a lot of the Audi stuff that we do. Mechanically, it's absolutely fine. When it arrived here, there's a number of things wrong with the car that mean that we would not retail this car. So what will happen with this, it'll just get traded on. So what I'm going to do, before I go into a bit more depth, is if you guys want to spend 2 minutes looking around the car and make a note or like shout at me what you think's wrong with it. If you were viewing this car, what would you be unhappy with if you were going to buy it?
The bodywork's atrocious, really.
The wheels are curbed on this car. It's expected, it's a used car, like it's a minor job to rectify that. Probably do with a set of tyres on it again. General wear and tear, like that's not a reason to not sell a car because it's just wear and tear and normal usage. This car in particular though, things when you start pointing them out and noticing, for example, the headlight here, see it's like loads of micro cracks in there. So that has either reacted with something or it's been re-lacquered, and things like, why have you re-lacquered a headlight on a newer vehicle? So on an older car, headlights do go dull and cloudy, whereas it doesn't really happen on the modern ones. Around this area here as well, you'll notice the fitment of the bumper. So this car is modified and it has had different parts changed on there. And like these bumpers are very delicate, so if they're not removed correctly, like the tabs break off them and then you end up with that gap there. The only proper way to rectify that would be a bumper replacement, and you'd be thousands in to be able to do that. This is going really in depth now. Bolts for the wing.
You can see where they've been moved.
See they've had a tool in there. This wing has been off. So something has happened in this area of the car, i.e. like that's why this is here, that's why that's there, that's why that's there, that's why the skirt's there.
I'd say it's been resprayed.
Whole side's been done?
Yeah,
One of the tools that we use to check that is this, which is a paint depth gauge. So this will measure the thickness of the paint and give us a bit more insight.
How many microns do they normally have then?
On these, I'd say between 120, 160. That's what I'd roughly expect to see. Sometimes a little bit higher from factory. Like BMWs, the newer ones, they're quite thin out of factory. By dealing with so many different cars, you kind of get what you'd expect to see. So, for example, this.
Things with Porsche, what was Porsche?
Most of the Porsche we've had have like been paint sample colours. Okay. You always find they're a bit thinner. Yeah. So the roof on this car hasn't been painted. 140 microns. It's what you'd expect to see for an Audi. Like it will vary around the panel because it's like paint is never 100% completely consistent. Like what are we on here? 130. It's factory. It's what you'd expect. You get onto the door here, 230. So if you'd had a panel resprayed because of stone chips, you kind of expect to see that. Like it's added, what, 100 microns almost? Added around 100 microns, that's a second layer of paint. That's what you expect because they don't bare metal panels when they repaint them. If that was in the thousands, like I know there's no body filler in this car, I have checked it all. There's no filler in here, but if that was in the thousands, then there's filler in there. And then you start questioning, how bad was the damage? Because what you'd find is if there was filler in in a rear quarter, which is not an easy panel to replace, you can't bolt it off and bolt it on it's a big job. Whilst 2,000 microns is only very, very thin. How bad was it before the body shop have pulled that out and the car, that's accident damage to me. Or if a quarter has been changed, we would never sell a car with that because it's a panel replacement.
Has anyone found the spider?
Oh, sorry?
Has anyone found the spider?
Spider?
Yeah.
In the paint?
No one's found it yet. I haven't asked anybody else yet, but nobody's found it yet.
Oh, in the lens?
There's a spider in the light.
Yeah.
Like you can't split these lights, so it's ended up in there from factory that.
So the reason for why today has happened is because we sold this lovely 997 Carrera 4 GTS to its current owner. We had this car last year. It came to us in impeccable condition. We went through a whole preparation process and then its owner opted for full exterior paint protection film coverage and a ceramic coating package. So he can make the most of this car on days like today and not worry about getting it dirty. I mean, look at it, it is absolutely ditch, but we love it. If you're enjoying this video, please make sure you like this video and subscribe to our channel for plenty more content like this. Now we're moving on to the washing. We call this the decontamination process. This is all about how we prepare a car for the detailing work that is to follow. This demonstration went down incredibly well, mainly because this is the one that our guests can relate to the most, as most of us do wash our cars at home. There were many tips and tricks given by our team and plenty of questions asked by our guests. Here's Dec and Emma running through our decontamination wash.
So, how many of you wash your own cars? Everyone, more or less everyone, that's brilliant. So, the whole reason to wash your own car is, if you use the cheap car washes, they tend to use the same mitt, the same bucket, because they'll use a big massive bucket and it's full of dirt. So they'll transfer the dirt all across the car and they'll scratch your paintwork. So inside you'll see all the swirl marks when they show you around, and that's how they inflict onto the paintwork. So generally how we'll start off our process is with the wheels first, get the arches off. Normally we'll jack the car up and take the wheels off, do all the arches, clean all, tar and iron them, and I'll show you what tar and iron does.
And then we'll just let that sit for a few seconds. Bristle brush. So what we'll do is we'll just go around the edges of the doors. So in all the seams, it just helps obviously get in between the crevices. Any trapped dirt or any loose dirt there, it just helps obviously push it out. So then when you spray it off, it just makes it easy to come out. So you want to just slowly push it around there nice and softly, just to push out any dirt or any debris. Through here as well, any small crevices there, you just want to help obviously softly brush it out of there. You probably all know this method, the 2-bucket one. You get your cleaner in there, start top to bottom, straight lines, as we've said. And then when you think you've done enough, obviously the car's clean because of the pre-wash. Dip it in. So underneath the car, and obviously the lower portion, you use a different mitt. You don't want to be getting dirty parts of the car up onto the rest of it. We've got a few dots on the paint. These are tar and iron spots. So your black ones are usually tar. And then there'll be some like orange or like rust spots. So what you'd see here is these are tar, and then you've got other spots which are a bit like rust. So when you spray your tar on, you'll see a little bit of a bleed, which is obviously, you know, your tyres, any tarmac or anything like that. So we'll just spray this onto the paintwork. It's sort of bleeding, so it just helps break down those bits. If we didn't do this process and we took the car inside, it will obviously stick into the polishing pad and then start marring and scratching and all that type of stuff, which is obviously not what we want.
Do you use that diluted or?
It's neat. You have to use that night. If you dilute it, just doesn't. It's not effective.
Now moving on to the iron fallout. So this is for all the brake dust that you get on your car. As you can see here, this one is bleeding. It's not as bad as some of the cars that we do get in, but there are some spots that are bleeding.
So this product does take a bit of time for it to work, so it does need to dwell. This will be the next stage, clay box. You can use clay, as in the clay you do yourself. It's long-winded. This does work quite a lot faster in our eyes. As long as you've got nice hot water.
I'm just using clay.
Clay, it's a good way of doing it. I think it's a bit more easy on the hand to hold as well. So there's 2 different types. That one's, if I can remember, I think that one's a coarser one, and that's a softer one. You can interchange it. So all you do is, in your shampoo bucket, same way, go over the car, and you'll generally, if the car's quite bad, you can hear the difference.
So you start with the windows, just to help break in the clay a little bit more and make it softer. So you just start side to side, straight lines, just to help get any contaminants off the windows. And you'd move on to the paintwork. So the idea of clay is to remove any contaminants that won't come off during the tar and iron stage. And then obviously it makes your paint a lot more softer for you.
I'd highly recommend one of these, to be honest. You can get smaller ones, but because we do so many cars, we've got the bigger one, and it just makes time easier for us. You can get small handheld ones, and they're perfect as well.
I was thinking that after all that, you put a bit of towel on it.
And a towel, and you're rubbing it around. Defeats the whole object, doesn't it, really? Yeah, it defeats the object. But one of these, great investment.
Now here is our final demonstration with our detailer manager Swift and our detailer Sean. They run through what we call the intricate bits, which is the last of the mucky jobs where we polish the exhaust back box, the tailpipes, we're blowing out the body panel gaps, and we're restoring the brake disc centres. Then they move on to the labour-intensive machine polishing process, which is where we restore the paintwork to a better than factory finish. Afterwards, they then move on to the benefits of paint protection film and ceramic coating. These are 2 forms of paint protection that ensures your vehicle stays in perfect condition.
Adam, if it's easier, I'm the detailer manager at Automotive Addiction, so I'm in charge of all the prep, start to finish, as efficient and best of our ability, basically. This is Sean, he's one of our detailers. This is obviously Turbo S, you all know what it is, it's probably better than what I do, the Porsche Club. So this is at a polishing stage. Before we get to this stage, we have a Golf in there that I want to show you around first, so you can understand how far we go before it actually is clean enough to start machine polishing. The wash is critical, but this bit is just as critical. This side hasn't been prepped. The arches, the brakes, nothing has been touched this side. We come this side, the arches, the back wall, the brake centres are refurbed. This wheel is half and half, so it's dressed, the wheel weights are touched up, it's decontaminated, there's no iron or tar on it. We also obviously refurb the brakes, so we mask them up, grind them back, paint them, so they look brand new basically. So I just wanted to show you that. That's the next process after the wash. We even go as far as touching in the bolts underneath the arches and stuff.
So with the machine polishing process, it will go through the intricate bits process as just shown, and then once it's done with that, it'll be put on the ramp, It'll get masked up, ready for polishing, just to save a bit more time with dusting down and stuff. We'll go more into that in a little while. Also, it protects the rubbers then as well, because you don't want to get any polish on the rubbers because it can turn them white. We have 3 different machines, so we have a rotary. The rotary is just one direction, so all this will do is just spin in one direction. DAs, so this is a DA, it'll spin that way, but it also rotates like that. The different pads that we use, so we have a microfiber cutting pad. We use a microfiber because it's easier to blow out than a foam pad. Sometimes we'll use a yellow pad, which is like a medium cut pad. If the car is really badly marred, which we'll explain in a moment, we will then use this pad to reduce that marring before refining.
With the same polish as well? With the same
Yeah, either that or perfect finish. So we'll use one of the two. It depends how badly it's marred. If it's marred quite bad, then we will use the ultra cut and just work it in a little bit more just to break it down. And then what we'll do is we'll move on to refining. This process we work in a lot, and it's just to bring the clarity back to the paint. It removes all the marring, it brings the paint back up to a better than brand new standard.
We've got a demonstration, so on the spoiler it's gloss black, so it's easier for you guys to see. So this side is not been touched. I don't know if you can all see. I can show you all. This
is a 2-year-old car.
Yeah.
Got a few swirl marks, haven't you?
So this side's swirled. You can see a little bit where we've clay barred it as well. This has been cut once, so this has had one pass. So you can see sort of the microfiber marring and pigtails that are left in it. And then this side is 100% complete, nothing in it. The whole car, we even go underneath on the diffuser and everything like that. The wheels, we polish the wheels. The windows, a lot of detailing companies don't use the windows.
Around the little bits then.
Well, we just explained it. We've explained this to the last group, and that badge is probably £800. So typically on the Audis, we take the badges off if it's £40 a badge. You know what I mean? So we take them off, we remove it, we cut it, we refine it, we put it back on. We won't take this off on here because of if it goes wrong, then it's an £800 badge. But we also, when you go outside, we got it's acidic gel. It's a chemical guys product. We just brush that in, leave it on for a few minutes and steam it out, because in the lettering it does get bad, especially in the Porsches. But so we've used this one to demonstrate, because the front end has got the protection film on and the back end hasn't. So the whole thing is ceramic coated. Even the PPF is coated as well. We do the wheels, we do the hub centers, we do the calipers, we do the windows, the paint, the exhaust tips.
There is many benefits to ceramic coating. See, one of the main benefits is not re-putting scratches into a car that's been polished. If the car's been polished and had ceramic coating, the second that you jet the dirt off, say the car, you take it out for a little thrash, you come back and it's dirty. Second you jet it off, all the dirt is going to come off because it cannot stick to the paint. Whereas if the car is unprotected and it doesn't have ceramic, 9 times out of 10 it will stick. And it's not going to remove the paint or anything like that, but over time it will start to break down the paint. And especially when you're washing it, say you jet your car off, you start to mitt it and it will move the dirt round in the mitt. Whereas with ceramic cars, you'll wash it and it'll just fall off. You'll snow foam it and you'll watch the dirt just literally fall off. It also protects the PPF really well. We had a BMW M140i in, that was white, and the front end was PPF'd on that. And the PPF had gone like a browny yellowish type of colour. We just thought it was the PPF, that's just how it looked because it was factory. And we polished it and the difference was absolutely massive. It was like it was back to brand new fresh PPF. That's the other thing, you can polish PPF too. Some people don't think you can, but as long as you work it low speed, there's no abrasives to it. It's literally just to bring the gloss back to the PPF, make it look as if it's just been applied again. And because of course it's heating it slowly, it'll also remove some more of the scratches as well. So yeah, the ceramic is really good. You know, it does protect your car from the elements. It does protect the PPF. You know, it protects your wheels, protects your calipers. You know, especially if you haven't got carbon ceramics. You know, it'll make the iron easier to remove. You know, we had a car come back in the one day and it was caked in iron on the wheels. And we were like, this ain't coming off, and straight away came straight off. You know, put a bit of iron out on it, and it came straight off as if it wasn't even there. So you know, there is plenty of benefits to the ceramic coating.
We had a car come back, it had G Technique on it, and that they do toppers, bring that beading back really, but you shouldn't need to if you maintain it. We do a dummies guide to wash, so when you do your handover with the car, they'll tell you how to wash it and maintain the coating. We email it you and it's like a dummies guide. It tells you all the products we use, how to use it, 2-bucket method, pH neutral cleaners basically, because if you was to go to Halfords and buy some Autoglim shampoo, it has wax in it, that'll clog the coating up. Whereas we use CarPro Reset, it's neutral cleaner, it's got no waxes in it, and it's made for ceramic coating, basically shampoo.
Thank you for watching this video. If you want to find out more information about future events, the best thing you can do is follow us on our social media channels and subscribe to our weekly newsletter. All the details are in our description. We look forward to seeing you next time.